Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. The return to Naxxramas miniset is coming in a few days, but that means there's still a few days to play Hearthstone in this old meta, and if you want to climb in the old meta before the miniset comes, these are the best decks to do that with. Overall, I'm going to feature 15 decks in this video. That's quite a lot, I know. I would say that the top 6 decks are really consistent. The others, they have some ups and downs. Overall, they are all performing at above 50% win rate, so they are all decks that can be used to climb with, but in specific meta pockets you might struggle with some of these, but the top 6 at least should be very consistent. So let's take a look at the decks. At number 15 we have a newcomer to the list, and it's Undead Priest. This is a bit of a different take on Undead Priest. It kind of uses those powerful 3-cost Undead minions, but it also uses Void Touch Attendant, so you can deal a little bit more damage when you have multiple damage sources available, and Incorporeal Corporal. So Incorporeal Corporal is a 2-mana 5/5 that dies when it attacks, but you can also silence that with Whispers of the Deep. How often can you actually get the Corporal and Whispers of the Deep? Yeah, there are some things about this deck, and the sample size also isn't that great. I mean, the deck looks like it's performing surprisingly well, but sample size is quite small, so I cannot confidently say that this is going to be the solution to Undead Priest. Obviously also in the miniset there's going to be a bunch of new Undead Priest support, so Undead Priest decks will be redone for the miniset anyway. But this is the most promising thing that Undead Priest has had for a while, so if you really want to give the archetype a try, then this is a good list to start with. And at number 14 we have Phylactery Warlock. Phylactery Warlock is especially popular in Legend. We can't blame any sample size issues with this deck, there's more than 10,000 games played with this list. Phylactery Warlock, it's a combo deck where you just replicate the Naval Mine Death Rattle and boom, destroy your own board with full of those Death Rattles, and padao, the opponent is going to die. Phylactery Warlock has been around for quite some time, but why is it on the list now? The meta has become a little bit more favorable to Phylactery Warlock, it's having a bit of a better time now than it used to do, and that's why it's finally able to stand on its own. So if you're looking for a combo deck to play, then this could be it. At number 13 we have Miracle Rogue. Miracle Rogue was hurt by the nerfs. Not having the null anymore means that aggro decks can really challenge it, and it's struggling against stuff like Unholy Death Knights and Aggro Mages, but it's a very sturdy deck. It still keeps surviving. For some inexplicable reason people are playing Thief Rogue on the ladder. I just cannot understand that, because there is no statistics that support Thief Rogue performance. By all possible indicators, Thief Rogue is not a good deck, it's not a climbable deck, and it's clearly weaker than Miracle Rogue. So I just don't know, I guess people like to have fun. That's a strange concept, I might have to try that sometimes, but in the meanwhile, Miracle Rogue. At number 13, best performing rogue deck in the game. At number 12 we have Pure Paladin. There's a lot of Pure Paladin lists on the ladder, and they mostly are like 2 cards, 3 cards different. And there's no clear favorite. None of these have really the sample sizes to prove that, hey, this Pure Paladin list is so much better than the others. So that makes evaluating Pure Paladin specific deck list a little bit difficult. As an archetype, I can quite comfortably say that, okay, Pure Paladin is an archetype that can climb to Legend, and pretty much all of these lists can do it. Right now, it appears that the best performing lists are these ones that are running the Buffet Big Gun. It's sort of a bit more token-based approach, but is that really going to be the case? If you run another list of Pure Paladin, you're probably just doing fine regardless. And the sample sizes unfortunately make it so that I cannot confidently say which Pure Paladin list is the best one. Shockspitter Hunter is still sort of alive, but it is falling in performance and in popularity. Coming in at number 11, Shockspitter Hunter, still the same list as before, and it's doing kind of okay, but Beast Hunter just seems to be the superior hunter archetype in the current meta. Shockspitter Hunter that weakens against Unholy, DK, Evolve, Shaman, it's weak against the main meta decks, and that's not a good position to be in. At number 10 we have Enrage Warrior, and this is a new list. I believe this is from Funky Monkey, but thing is, Enrage Warrior has basically 3 lists now. There's this new list with Tori Belore. Then there is the other list that still uses March of the Lich King cards. And then there is the old list that doesn't even use any March of the Lich King cards. And all of these lists are doing quite alright on the ladder. The sample sizes of all of them are also so low that I cannot confidently say which one is the best. If we just look at, okay, hey, sort by win rate, yeah, this is currently the best performing list. But they are all within margin of error of each other, so no confident analysis can be done about them. But if you like to play Enrage Warrior and you like to try a little bit of something new, well, there is a new Enrage Warrior list, so you can go ahead and climb with this on the ladder. At number 9 we have Curse Imp Warlock. I don't have a lot to say about Curse Imp Warlock. It's still the same list. This list has been around for a long time. Curse Imp Warlock just seems to be able to adapt to all sorts of metagames. It has weaknesses against aggression, and it is generally stronger against slow decks, so whenever there's more slow decks, Curse Imp Warlock is better, but it's just very flexible and sturdy and seems to be doing okay no matter the meta. The 8th best deck in the game is Big Spell Mage. Big Spell Mage hasn't really changed much. There are basically 2 alternatives. You can do double Pelican Diver, single School Teacher, or 1 Pelican Diver, 2 School Teachers. Double Pelican Diver seems to be a little bit better right now, giving the deck just a little bit more survivability early on. But overall, the differences are minor. And Big Spell Mage, one of the more control style decks that you can play on the ladder right now with success. Beast Hunter is the 7th best deck in the game. There's a couple of lists around, and again, the differences are minor, and I cannot confidently say about the performance on which one is better. This list, for example, this one now runs Lothemar Theron and only 1 copy of collateral damage. There's also a list without Lothemar and with 2 copies of collateral damage. There have also been some Hope of Quel'Thalas lists, and they're all pretty much the same. I mean, those are just very minor differences. Beast Hunter is the classic minion pile. You just put all the good cards in it and see what happens, and it's okay on the ladder. The number 6 deck is the best control deck that you can play right now on the ladder, and it is Control Paladin. Control Paladin's big strength is that it's strong against Unholy Death Knight. Unholy Death Knight does not have a lot of weaknesses, but Control Paladin is one of those weaknesses. And when you look at the list, I mean, Unholy Death Knight, Aggro Mage, Evolve Shaman, Frost Death Knight, Control Paladin is good against all of the top meta decks. That's just phenomenal. But it also has some weaknesses, and especially the increasing numbers of Phylactery Warlocks have been a little bit awkward for Control Paladin because it doesn't really have tools to handle that deck. But other than that, if you want to play Control, there's the Big Spell Mage alternative, but even better, Control Paladin. The best mage deck in the game at the moment is Aggro Mage. There are no changes to the list. This is the exact same Aggro Mage list as it has been for some weeks. And yeah, not much to say about it. It just goes and kills people. Kind of the same thing with Frost Death Knight at number 4. These top decks haven't really changed. Most of them haven't really changed that much. Frost Death Knight's main ticket to fame right now is that it's good against Unholy Death Knight. Because Unholy Death Knight only has 2 bad matchups, Frost Death Knight and Control Paladin. So Frost Death Knight, it was of course nerfed a little bit. Seemed like, hey, maybe it's on its way down. But then the meta changed. So that, hey, Frost Death Knight was like, alright, if people who want to play decks that I have a great matchup against, then yeah, sure, I'm all for that, let's go. I'm good again. Spell Demon Hunter didn't take the nerf to the quest that hard, because you just dropped the quest and started to play Spell Demon Hunter the regular way. Soul Eater's Kite, still a phenomenal card, just a wonderful tool in the deck, and the deck is doing great. Most of these top decks haven't really changed in the past couple of weeks, like Evolve Shaman. Evolve Shaman just climbs some ranks week after week without any changes to the list. The Neptulon Tidehunter, Shadowhunter Vol'jin list remains the best one. Sea Giant list is an alternative if you don't have those legendary cards. It's also completely fine. It's slightly weaker than this one, and it's just doing well. And at the top, the number 1 best deck in the game for the 2nd week in a row is Unholy Death Knight. I tried to dig a little bit into data and see what's going on with Unholy Death Knight, and I found this list, and I think this is a pretty interesting list. Because this list makes use of Murloccula, and Murloccula is performing really, really well in this archetype. So that makes me think that, okay, Murloccula maybe belongs, maybe this is not completely fine-tuned yet, but that little bit of new insight, little bit of new invention in this archetype just might belong and might make the deck a little bit better. Obviously the miniset is coming and things are about to change. Unholy Death Knight is not totally lost in the miniset because the miniset includes a new 1-drop for Unholy Death Knight. Unholy Death Knight is going to like that. So we'll see how it goes after the miniset, but at the moment Unholy Death Knight, best deck in the game. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.